Into Cincinnati, where the Bengals had a joint practice yesterday with the Bears ahead of their preseason game on Saturday. We know the expectations for this Bengals team to get back to the postseason for the first time since 2022 are pretty darn high. And quarterback Joe Burrow says he's tired of waiting.
I'm trying to put it out into the world. I'm trying to manifest it. I'm trying to show our guys the urgency that I have and that I want us to have as an organization to go and make it happen. You can keep pushing it down the road, or you can talk about it now and say this is the year. And I'm tired of saying next year. This is it.
We've been saying next year in Cincinnati ever since they got to the Super Bowl in 2021, Myron. They have not been back since. How do you hear Joe Burrow there?
He's talking to his head coach. Nobody else. He's not talking to front office. He's not talking to ownership. He's not talking to his teammates. He's talking to his head coach. He's saying this has to be the year. If this isn't the year, you're not the guy. I think that's what Joe Burrow's saying. And if there isn't a change, Joe Burrow may threaten to leave. Like at the end of the day, he's saying now is the time. They have all the pieces to advance in the AFC. They have all of the pieces to be on top. And if it doesn't happen, he's talking to his head coach and saying, I'm going to put the blame on your shoulders because he's been the one who's been taking it on in the past years.
This is the most talented Bengals team since Joe Burrow got there. I know because Joe Burrow said that in May when the roster came together. He's putting pressure and urgency on an organization where there's very rarely pressure and urgency. Mike Brown runs this team, and there have been years, maybe not in the last 3 years, but there have been years where winning has been incidental to that operation. They haven't been able to go all in. Now they make that big trade for Dexter Lawrence. Everybody in Cincinnati was looking for a trade like that to go all in and say, hey, let's improve this defense. They signed Brian Cook, who is instantly going to make them a better tackling team. Last year, it was very, very simple on defense. They could not tackle. Explosive run rate was through the roof on defense. They allowed yards after catch on basically everything. It was a disgrace. Now they're going to be more multiple on defense without Golden because of the way that their personnel is lining up. Maybe there's a little bit of a deficiency at linebacker, but really there's not a lot of holes on this team. And so I think this is Joe Burrow saying, hey, we're not going to be same old Bengals anymore. There's an urgency here. And I thought it was interesting. He said, as an organization, he wants everybody. I disagree that it's just Zach Taylor. Zach Taylor has the pressure on him, but I think Duke Tobin, who's the personnel guy, has pressure on him. I think that Mike Brown, who's an owner, has pressure on him if, as you said, Burrow is even thinking in a couple of years of asking out. So the pressure is on everybody because it's usually always on Joe Burrow, and he wants to know, hey, it's all of us this time.
But he's got the pieces, though, Kevin.
Yeah.
So, you can point to the front office, I think, in past years and say,
sure,
you're missing this, you're missing that. The pieces are there.
On paper.
On paper.
Right? I mean, getting Dexter Lawrence is amazing. We talked about his impact beyond anything that shows up in the stat columns for him, right? How he holds up double teams, how he affects the pass rush and creates one-on-ones. On paper, it's nice. But I think that's why Burrow mentioned manifesting. It's messaging. It's messaging to the front office. It's messaging to the ownership that, hey, I know it sounds good. You put these pieces together. If it doesn't come together, I might be out. And I'm going to find a way to make sure that my future and my success can be dictated by how I play, not by how much the defense lets me down. Because in the 3 years since they've missed the playoffs, Joe Burrow as a starter is 19-16. Those 16 losses, only twice did the defense allow less than 24 points. So in 14 of those losses, the offense scored 24 points or more, and it was an average of 31 points per game. That's not a Joe Burrow problem. That's a defensive problem. And yes, it looks better on paper. But if it's not, there will be a reckoning at the end of the season. And Joe Burrow is going to find out either his way or the highway in Cincinnati or the highway, and it's going to be somewhere else.
Well, this is where we jump off football season. Well, be there, Joe Burrow. Be there. Like, listen, you're good enough to win when your defense play bad. You've shown us time and time again that you can win games. And look, availability is a very, very sticky situation because you don't control times when you get injured or hurt in football. But ultimately, the ones that have won on your side is because they've been available and present. Like, that's really what it boils down to. We know Joe Burrow is good enough. We know he's one of the top quarterbacks when he's available. But there it is right there, 9-7-6. That's been the story of the Cincinnati Bengals. I get it. We could blame the defense, and we could talk about all of the things that they don't have and all of this. You wanted Jamar Chase and T. Higgins to be paid. They both $100 million wide receivers. They made attempts to fix this offensive line and put people around you. And look, as much as people talk about this offensive line, they have still been scoring 30 every game. So somebody doing something.
Yeah.
And that's a credit to Joe Burrow as well with his availability. Yes, defensively they have to get better. Yes, they have to take major steps on that side of the football. But to couch this in a situation where Joe Burrow is putting the onus on the franchise has pretty much done what you've asked them to do since you start making these demands. It's about you being on the football field. Because I believe, and I think everybody at this table believe, that when Joe Burrow is playing, even if they do give up 30, he can score 35.
Great.
Right? And that's what you better do, because you wanted these wide receivers, because to you, that was the difference in the Cincinnati Bengals having an opportunity to win Super Bowl. The other problem is this, and herein lies the real problem, is that Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes and now Bo Nix are on that side. Justin Herbert with a new offensive coordinator. They over there too. Like, we talk about this in a monolith. Like, if the Bengals are good on defense and Joe Burrow is healthy, they're going to win the Super Bowl. Bruh, it's 5 more All-Pros in this division at the quarterback position with better defense.
Yeah.
So, again, like, I get it. Cincinnati, this the best team they've had, but they ain't the best team on that side of the field. And then if you potentially get to the Super Bowl, Myles Garrett and Aaron Donald might be on the other side of that game. Make a good run. Joe Burrow stay healthy. Show market improvement, and let the organization do what they're going to do. But Joe Burrow has to stand on being available for 17 or 18 weeks first. That's the first step to this team doing what he's asking them to do.
The word you used, urgency, is the one that sticks out in my mind, because there's a sect of Cincinnati Bengals fans who are so used to this team putting up with mediocrity, having all those seasons with Marvin Lewis, finishing well below 500, didn't fire him until it was a 6-10 finish. Joe Burrow's going to be 30 years old in December.
Yeah.
He doesn't necessarily represent the Bengals of old, the Bengals way of thinking, the way they've been doing business for a long time. He's got one more year on that contract. If it doesn't go according to plan, which the plan for this team is get back to the Super Bowl. They were there once. They can try to get there again this year. If it doesn't happen, don't be surprised if the conversation around him changes to where he's saying, I want to go somewhere else and not waste the prime of my career. All right, so that was a...
It's not high T, it's not low T. It is Mike T. Our first caller, Mike Tannenbaum, is self-proclaimed president of Raider Nation. My president, Ice Cube. He's on the line saying the Raiders have a real chance to win the AFC West. Is that fraud or laud?
Guys, that is fraud. And dad joke, that take is going to melt.
Hey.
They are a year away from being a year away. Fernando Mendoza is going to be a really good player, but they're a big question mark, guys. At receiver, we're looking at a drop ball here. Who are their starting corners going to be? And when you think about that division, Jim Harbaugh, Sean Payton, Andy Reid, the Raiders are in the right direction. They are not winning the division this year.
It's a hot take from an Ice Cube, and something's got to give. You know what I mean? Next caller, Shedeur Sanders. He says if he plays well tomorrow against Buffalo, he should be the Browns' Week 1 starter. Mike T, fraud or laud?
Yeah, Gary, absolutely laud. Give Shedeur an opportunity here. He's big, he's strong, he can make all the throws. His upside is very intriguing. Deshaun Watson's played in 19 games in 6 years. He has 2 Achilles tendons tears. And, oh, by the way, he's going to be a free agent at the end of the year. Cut your losses, move on. Let's see what Shedeur can do with a talented young roster.
Okay, all right. Our final caller is Aaron Rodgers, and he says the preseason isn't real football, so he's sitting out tonight's game against the Jets. Is that fraud, or should we laud?
Randy, I'm going to laud that, and this is one of the rare times I'm going to agree with Aaron Rodgers, but you hardly ever see good against good. The controlled scrimmages that we're seeing, that's where you're going to get your best work in, where it's the most competitive and simulate game conditions. So I'm with Aaron. Let's get ready for the regular season, and let's see how hopefully it goes off, in the sunset with a good year.
Mike T, it's a clean sweep for you, and for that, you get another prize. I'd like for you to pick your door. What's it going to be, 1, 2, or 3?
Gary, I'm going to go with door number 1.
What is behind curtain number 1?
What is it?
The ESPN Summer Picnic is Monday. We are giving you a free token to ride the bumper cars. Mike T, what we don't want you to know is everything is free for everybody on Monday, and it gets a little rowdy when the sun goes down. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So we'll see you there, Mike T.